So I think it's time to talk about camera review channels and why I'm absolutely done with them. I just can't stand them anymore. I just don't want to see another camera review. I don't want to see another lens review. I don't care if Lumix released a new camera. I don't care if the FX5 came out. This is probably why you shouldn't care about camera reviews either. If you are in video photography or just the general tech space, then you probably find yourself being drawn to these review videos and to the latest and greatest. Oh, the FX5 shoots open gate. Okay, what does that mean for you? There's a couple of pet peeves that I have with camera review channels and just gear review channels in general as a whole. Number one, it floods my feed. Literally every single creator has to create the same exact video. It is awful. Whenever a new camera is released, you literally cannot browse your feed because every single person is uploading the same exact review because it's probably a partnership with the company or some sort of like, oh, we'll send you the camera. They all post it at like the same time. Basically, there's probably some contractual reason that they have to do it like that, but yes, you will get bombarded with the same exact video 20 times. The other reason that it's disingenuous, let's use the FX5 as a new example, right? It's the latest Sony camera. And let's say that you don't have a camera at all, so you're attracted to this new offering because you just want to have the best thing if you've already been saving up. For you, maybe, fine, I guess, but you could also get an FX3 or a myriad of other cameras for way more affordable price than trying to get the latest and greatest. I find that I see a lot of people way too hype about the FX5 or whatever the latest and greatest camera is, and I know that they have an FX3 currently and they're not using that camera to their full potential. Well, Cam, it's only an FX3, it only shoots 4K, but it doesn't shoot RAW. The creator was shot on an FX3, which I know that people use that as a gimmick to advertise a movie or whatever, right? If a full feature length, professional made, theater run movie can be shot on this camera, that means that you are not using this camera to your fullest potential or its fullest potential. You do not need the FX5 whatever. Not to mention it's like 5.5 grand. I have an FX6 and sometimes I kind of just wish I didn't have it. Like I kind of just wish I had two or three FX3s because it's basically the same exact camera. They're like, they literally slap the same sensor on every single camera. The only reason I particularly got an FX6 was because I was chasing crew work. It can be good because of the SDI and the internal ND and just a couple little extra things that make the FX6 slightly nicer as a camera operator. Otherwise, you can literally get an A7S III or an FX3 for the same exact sensor. And no, you are not using your camera to its fullest potential. I am not using my camera to its fullest potential, and most people I know are not using the camera to its fullest potential. We have kind of reached like a bell curve, right, of quality of cameras, right, where there's not a lot of moving up from here. We've reached the maximum that they can be. I mean, I'm sure, in 10 years, there'll be some sort of technological advancement. Before a general sense, most cameras are more than enough. Most cameras are more than your capacity to do something epic with that camera. So instead of enriching Sony or whatever brand, whatever your preferred camera brand is, I used to get into the whole camera war thing. I used to be like, I'm team Sony. And I love Sony, it's great, okay? But I don't think I'm team anything. They're all great, they're all awesome. Just fixate so much. I will meet people in the wild that really care about cameras and they're like a PA and they haven't shot anything. And I'm just like, what are you doing, man? Like, you need to just get out there and be shooting. You do not even need to be watching reviews for the latest and greatest camera. You are not going to use it as to its full capacity. All that you guys are doing two things with watching these videos. One, you're enriching the creators because you're going to their affiliate links. That's what they're hoping, is that you'll purchase with their affiliate links and they get a nice little check off of that. And number two is you're enriching Sony or whatever manufacturer is getting advertisement points because they released a new camera. You're enriching that advertiser, obviously, because they're selling you the camera. Do you think that they're going to sell you the camera, they're going to sell you some extra lenses that are basically the same thing you bought 5 years ago, And then they're gonna release a new camera in like a year so that you feel tempted to upgrade again. And like that one camera wasn't enough. And the camera is the reason, like if you just get this one camera, if you just get this one lens, if you just get this one more piece of equipment, that's what will make your videos great. You can probably make an a7 III that came out in like 2018 with no 10-bit. It only has 8-bit. And if you have the right lighting and the right lenses, that'll look better than some content that's gonna get shot on those FX5s. Now I say this and I have hater energy, right? But I used to fall under the same trap. I used to fall into the gear obsession. And sometimes I think to my peers how cringy I might have sounded when I was a PA just yapping on and jacking it up about gear when I was just like a lowly PA. I barely knew how to wrap cables over and under, and I'm yapping about Sony's latest release and color science and whatever buzzwords and stuff you want to use because you watched on YouTube videos. And this is no hate to PAs or anybody starting out. Like, that's great. Everybody's got to start somewhere. I'm just saying that y'all have to take that energy that you have for these new equipment and these new brands and basically taking out a loan to pay for these cameras and then getting into debt and whatever. Because I don't think that most people are paying for this out of pocket. By the way, when I bought my FX6, I paid for it out of pocket cash. If you're not able to pay for that camera out of pocket cash, I do not think you have any business purchasing that camera. Oh, but Cam, it's an investment. No, because you can get an FX3 or any other camera for half the price. If you need a starter camera, there are so many other cameras that you can get that you do not need to take out a credit card debt or put it on Klarna. That's my personal thing, is if you cannot afford to pay the camera, then you probably should not be getting the camera. That's just how I feel. Some people might be like, oh, but it's an investment, da-da-da-da. That's you, I guess. There are so many pieces of equipment to making an image look good that are way more important than the camera. I would say the camera body, maybe back then when you were buying dynamic range, when you were buying special features, then yes, getting a better camera would make your image hypothetically better. But now they're all the same. Literally every single one, and they've been the same since like 2019 onward. There have been micro upgrades like, oh, it shoots 12K, blah, blah, blah. No one is using that. Nobody's uploading those files. Have you seen the cost of storage? You're really dealing with 12K files? You're not doing that. Even Reds, I've seen people are basically giving them away. The local camera store here in Orlando is called Colonial Camera, and that place had, I think it was like it's like a red Scarlet or one of those that used to be pretty pricey back in the day, and they were selling it for like $2,000. Nobody wants these cameras, and that camera is more than capable of shooting. Like, I probably could take that camera and shoot, and I still wouldn't be able to shoot with its full capacity. That's how good these cameras are. You can get a used Red, you can get a used Blackmagic. There are so many cameras. If your goal is to get the objectively best image possible, it is possible to do that with a camera the fraction of the price as this new FX5 or, again, the latest camera that these brands want to sell you. We go to that of the camera does not matter. And not at this point, at least. The camera barely matters. I mean, there are situations where you might want an Alexa 35 for the extra little bit of dynamic range. If you have the budget and you have a movie and you're going to play it in theaters, then maybe getting an Alexa 35 is like worth it. For the average person, this is not true. For the average person shooting B2B commercial videos for a roofer or filming weddings or any of the other creative pursuits of all these people that this is what they do, you want to probably focus on lighting and understanding lighting very well, because that is the true difference maker in your images is your ability to write, is your ability to light properly and to direct crew. That is the job of a deep director of photography. You are directing crew members to do what you want. You are directing crew members to create an image and to tell a story in a visual way. The camera does not impact that job or that description at all. The job is to direct the lighting team, even if it's a small, scrappy lighting team, even if it's just you with a couple lights. It is your job to direct select the light and paint with light. That is more impactful than the camera body. Next is your lens choice. Your lens choice is probably the other big thing that a DP does, is to be able to select a lens that tells a story, whether it is a zoom lens because maybe you're shooting sports and that's just the most convenient way to do that. If you're shooting a film and you want some crazy swirls in the background, or if you want some lenses that are pretty clinical, maybe you go with like some Sigmas or some Dizios because you want a budget-friendly lens, but you want it to be fairly clinical because it's a documentary or because it's a commercial video. These are all knowledge that you have as a DP. The camera body is not like the top of mind. It should not be the top of mind. What you guys are doing is giving these companies a bunch of money, and you will not be using that camera to its full potential. I would say that more than half of the people that I have seen talking about the FX5 are not using this. This is an A7S III. It has the same sensor and pretty much everything that the FX6 and the FX3 have. Those people that are nonstop yapping about the FX5 will not use this camera to its fullest potential. So why are they so invested in the FX5? Anyways, it's a point of frustration with me with these camera review channels and with the filmmaking universe as a whole. I totally get it that once your channel and your content creator journey becomes successful enough that it's obviously better to just become a content creator. It's better to just talk about gear because you get sponsorships out of these brands. It's better to just do that than the traditional hard path of being a filmmaker or video agency or whatever video production endeavor, right? It's way harder. It's monetarily better to just be a content creator. It just is. And no hate to the community at large that chooses to be a content creator because it's more lucrative for them. I do find it pretty frustrating as a consumer of video and filmmaking content because I don't feel like I find genuine people who are talking about the industry. There are a couple of examples like the Cranky Cameraman and David Moorfield and maybe Jared and maybe Lens by Jared. There are a couple of vlogging, more camera operator type channels that do discuss the ins and the outs of the film space and of actually working in video and trying to pursue this professionally. Though I do think all these guys, by the way, if they got big enough on YouTube, they would also kind of focus on YouTube. But you know, like, it's okay. Like, I would do the same thing. It's just tough because I don't feel like there's a ton of genuine content out there about the field and about filmmaking and stuff. You know, there are some lighting tutorials. There are some guys still doing stuff. I get like pretty annoyed. Just it's my own personal annoyance, right? But I guess I feel really burnt out and annoyed when I'm going on my feed and I'm just hearing people that have no business talking about this new camera as if that's going to change the level of their work, as if that's going to get them an Emmy, as if find them a good documentary character to follow, as if that's going to get them a narrative idea or even get them more business. Are you kidding me? Most business owners, you could show up with an iPhone and if you're delivering leads for them, they'd probably be cool with that. They don't care. In fact, they probably can't tell the difference between an A7 III that came out in 2018 and the FX5. They cannot tell the difference. It looks all the same to them. They might not be able to tell sometimes, some clients can't tell the difference between an FX6 and a DSLR. They think that the FX6 is a photo camera, even though there's a mic attached and like handle and like a bunch of other extra add-ons and things. They'll be like, oh, you're gonna take my picture? And I'm like, it doesn't do photography, but like I can give you some stills from like some still grabs. But let me know what you guys think. And if you're a filmmaker watching this, focus on all the other aspects of filmmaking, and that will be cheaper, make you a better filmmaker or better videographer, whatever your journey is. If you focus on things outside of the gear, you will become better.